trying to find a recipe for horse conch has been a little bit of a challenge because everything out there is for queen conch, and horse conch is technically not a conch. It's a sea snail. So everything that I've researched has shown that you want to eat your conch fresh. We didn't have the energy to eat it fresh, so we froze our conch. Ideally, it would have been nice to put it in a 2-gallon bag. I did not have one big enough. The 1 gallons didn't fit. So we ended up saran wrapping it. We stuck it in the freezer like that. This has been defrosting in Publix bags like this for we're coming up on 6 hours. So we're about to take it out. We're going to show you how to drill it to easily get it out. And then we're going to make conch fritters with it. One thing about me, I love to cook. I like to take recipes and kind of do my own thing. In the past, I've just used olive oil, which isn't what you should be using when you deep fry something. So we are going to attempt to make conch fritters that do not taste like oil-soaked conch fritters. And these aren't the queen conch fritters that you might get down in the Bahamas or someplace else like that. This would be with the horse conch or the sea snail. So maybe they're sea snail conch fritters, but the horse conch is the Florida state shell. So I'm super excited to try it. You can keep them. This is our second sink in our butler pantry. I didn't want to take up my main kitchen sink while this thing defrosted. So if you have a second sink, that's great. If you don't, a bucket would work just as well. All right, before we drill it, I am going to try and pull it out just to see how hard it is. See if maybe I can work it out on its own, but I do not want everything, the entrails, to get stuck up in there. Yeah, it's not coming. So we are actually going to drill it to get a little bit of air in it. And that way the meat just comes right out. So if we don't drill it, potentially the meat could get stuck up in there. So we're going to go kind of at the third peak. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. We're going to just come in here. We're going to drill a tiny hole to start to see. All right, so that kind of allows the air to go through. Ooh, it's already coming out a little more. Let's see if it will work. Oop, there it goes. All right, I don't want to yank it off because I don't want it to break, but I am just gently pulling. Hey! All right, so again, this is the foot. But we are getting to the white, fleshy meat. There it comes. We don't want to lose those entrails. Woo! Look at that! All right, and that black stuff at the end, we do not eat. So it's this white piece right here that you're going to eat. The air hole that we created is a really good thing because, as you can see, all of this entrails from this horse conch go all the way up to the very tip. So if you don't get that air suction in there, potentially you are going to leave some of that behind. And this one did break off, but it did come off as a whole when I brought it out. So you can see it twirls. The meat we're gonna eat, its foot, the mantle. So we are gonna cut the orange foot, the mantle, and then all this black part with a knife. But first, to kind of handle it better, I am... Oh my God! So gross.
What happened?
It squirted at me. All right. All right. All right, let's see. I'm going to get my knife. All right, so I want the white fleshy part So I've kind of cut the entrails off. So there's this kind of lip right here that we're not going to end up needing. There is some foot on that, so you're just going to clean it up, kind of go around it. Let me break through right there. All right, so this is the meat part that we're wanting, this orange part right here. So I'm going to cut it right here and then I'll start working at it. It's kind of opening up. So I'm going to start to clean it up. We're going to get rid of the entrails here, this outer layer that I cut off already. And then we're going to start to cut off this orange foot, but we want the meat in the middle. Kind of, we're going to get rid of all the goopy stuff that we see in there. This piece right here, I have a lot to clean up on it as well. That can go away. And then we'll see what we're left with. So you want to get the knife along this orange part as thin as you can to save as much meat as possible. I'm just kind of lightly tugging on it and then letting the knife kind of do the work. I'm switching to a fillet knife, that way I can have a little bit sharper of a knife. My kitchen knives are pretty dull from daily use. Just trying to get all that orange off. All right, that looks really good right now. There is no more orange left, no more black left, and it's a nice hunk of white flesh, which is the part that you're wanting to keep. So conch is known to be kind of chewy, and I can actually feel different parts of the meat, where this white one right here next to kind of the foot is a little tougher than this meaty flesh right here in the middle. You can almost see a color change too, where it's a little tougher. All right, I'm gonna separate that out here in a little bit. It was just hard to work with all the valleys and peaks. So eventually this is gonna go in the food processor. That way we can really get the tiny chunks. So I'm trying to get all of this goopy part out. So we're just gonna kind of cut it in different ways just to get it able to be removed easily. And this has no smell to it whatsoever. It doesn't smell fishy. It doesn't smell like anything. So if you're scared to eat it because of the smell or scared to make it because of the smell, there isn't any. Get that off. You can see this is nice and soft, and this is very tough. So this is where its foot is. And I know conch is known for being very tough, but I'm actually gonna cut this chunk out. Just that way the conch fritters that we have won't be so chewy. So I'm rinsing it off. As you can see, the cutting board gets pretty dirty. you can really feel those hard spots. This one feels like a very nice light chunk of conch meat. Right now I'm going to take the red, yellow, and orange bell pepper and I'm going to grind them up in my food processor in preparation to make the conch fritter dough. I'm just cutting them up right now to get it a little smaller for when it goes into the food processor. I'm just going to throw it all in the food processor. I don't want it to get too mushy, so I'm going to pull out these bigger pieces. Probably would have been better to do it a little at a time. Alright, so let's see where this is. Alright, last little bit. Dump that in there. This is our mixture of red, yellow, and orange bell pepper along with the red onion. So it's all been kind of churned up in the food processor to get it really small. That way it helps make the fritter balls once we have the conch ready to go. All right, so we have our peppers, our red onion. I'm going to add some garlic. And I like to use whole garlic, but if you don't have whole garlic on hand, you can definitely use powder. I don't know what the ratio would be, but it's just 1 garlic clove. And I do have a jalapeno pepper if we want to add it. We have company coming over. We have Scott's parents coming over, so I'm not sure if they want jalapeno. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. We love to smoke food, and we have all different types of rubs. This is a recent one we got, made in Florida, Everglades fish and chicken, and it was really good. So I'm just going to add a little of that on top of the salt and pepper. I'm just going to do a half a teaspoon. In a separate bowl, we're going to mix up the fish fry seasoning and the liquid and the egg and the sugar. So this packet here I found when we were down in Marathon, but you can use any of your favorite fish fries that you can find at your local grocery store. We have a teaspoon of sugar. We're gonna start with a 1/2 cup of water. And we're gonna stir that all around. We have our frying seasoning, and then we have the peppers. All we need to do is add the conch. So we have a 1/2 pound of flesh that we're going to use for our conch fritters today. And I'm going to chunk it up into little pieces, and then we're going to add them to the food processor. I did 2 batches, so I already did 1 batch. But you want to do it in little batches. That way, as it chops up and some of the bigger pieces go to the top, and you try and continue to get those. If you have too much in there, it's just going to make a kind of a messy mush of the stuff at the bottom. But we want the meat nice and small. That way, as you're eating your conch fritter, there's no big chunks of any one thing, whether it be the peppers or the onions or even the garlic. You just kind of want it all to be nice and kind of taste like the consistency of bread. You want everything in your conch fritters to be nice and small pieces. So kind of about halfway through, you want to get those bigger pieces and bigger chunks that have gone up on your food processor. All right, so this is our second addition of conch to the peppers. So we have our first, our second. All right, so now we're going to stir that together. So this is the peppers and the conch. There's a big pepper. We're gonna remove that guy. And we're gonna add the fish fry mixture that we mixed up earlier. All right, so you want to put this in the fridge for about a half hour just to kind of get everything hardened up a little bit. And so while it's doing that, we're gonna get the oil heated up on the stove, get it nice and hot. All right, so you want your oil to be between 350 and 375. So I have taken my time to get this up to temperature. So we are there, we're good. And I'm gonna take an ice cream scoop just to get the balls started and also to help get them in the oil because I don't want to dip my hands down in there. So I'm just gonna gently put that down in there. You don't want to overcrowd them. So this pan is very small. It's an asparagus pot, but it does have a it has a basket, so I'm hoping to use the basket to help it get out. All right, that one didn't splash. Once they raise up in the oil, they are done and ready to go.
Those are looking great. Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're done because they're nice and brown. So I'm going to take these out.
Yep, those look perfect.
I think the wire is just having these stick together. Yeah, those are pretty stuck in there. So I'm going to let this get back up to temperature. And these do not look as brown as these guys do. Those look good. And you want it to be back up to 350. Oh, we're good. We're good. I'm going to stick them in with this guy.
We're about to have a family dinner tonight, so we're going to have a great taste test. And we're going to get everyone's opinion on how these taste.
So to dip our conch fritters in, I have cocktail sauce, some seafood mustard sauce, and then some honey mustard if anyone would want it. So in the past, whenever we've fried things, I've never used enough oil. So I bought a big container of vegetable oil. I did read a recipe that used peanut oil, but vegetable oil was cheaper. So I bought a big thing of vegetable oil, and that's what we used today. So I'm putting 4 in this pan over here, and it took about 7 minutes to fully cook. This smaller pan, which I'm putting 2 to 3 in, is cooking them faster, but it's going to be a little bit quicker. And I do keep the pot lids near me, because if you do get a fire or something kind of gets out of control with oil, you just want to cap it. You never want to put water on it. Make sure your hands are dry as you're using it, because the water off your hands will make the oil pop too. We're just going to cut one open just to check. That looks nice. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I really like that. Want to try some?
Yeah.
Oh, if I drop some, the dog will get some too. You love it?
Yeah. Oh, good.
Una, want to try some?
Yummy.
Ooh. Oop, I'm dropping a lot for the doggy.
That's good. Very flavorful with all the peppers. It's not too chewy at all. Cheers.
Cheers.
What's everybody think?
Amazing.
Really good.
Good?
Very good.
Can I get some?
Not chewy. Okay, that's awesome. Not chewy at all.
No?
No,
Good.
very good.
Very tasty.
What do you think, Mom?
Very good.
All right.
Nothing squirting back at me.
No. All right. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
Little red thing in there.
Oh, yeah.
Peppers? No jalapeno. We decided
Nope.
against
Just
it.
green and red pepper, is it?
Nice.
Green, yellow, and orange.
And orange.
I think if you put jalapeno, I wouldn't be able to eat it.
What do you think?